Texags.com, Texags Radio. Anything Texags? Is that you?
I'm prepared to answer to anything.
You can hear
if there's
Olan.
a check in it, I'll do it.
Be careful, yeah. Okay, well, hold on. Now check, I believe it. With check in, I believe it. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday here on The Zone. You hear Olan on Texags Radio as part of the Go Hour with Gabe Bach. 8 a.m. to only an hour? That's lightweight radio, dude.
I think Gabe might feel threatened if I was on any longer. Not
wow,
really,
shots fired.
Of course, I'm just joking.
Wow,
of course you're
shots
just joking.
fired.
Of course, I'm teasing.
The third part of the Zone Game Day
wink.
Show, presented by Texags.com, it is Robert Cessna. He is the editor, sports section of the Eagle. Cease, how long you been doing that?
43 years and counting. Not bad. Internship's almost over.
43 years, all at the Eagle?
Yes, sir.
Holy cow. So you have seen a lot of Aggie football coaches. You've seen a lot of Aggie football seasons.
Seen a lot of bad football, seen some good football.
We bring the old people in for a reason. Olan, Cease, I am Louie. We're going to hang out with you till 6:30, and then the official A&M pregame show. Tom Turbyville, Scott Clendenin will take over here on 1150 and 102.7 FM. Then 7:30 kickoff. The new voice of Texas A&M, Andrew Monaco, with a familiar face, I guess voice for the radio, but Dave Elmendorf. They're going to take care of things.
Dave Elmendorf is as much a part of A&M football as anything. He's such a tradition in himself. And then Andrew Monaco taking over. Perfect initials to cover A&M.
A&M.
And I would think that Dave hadn't got a facelift last time I saw him, so he's probably got the same face. I'd hope so.
You will end your game now after the game, 30 minutes after the game, right back here on 1150 AM and 102.7 FM. It's the Zone Call-In Show, sponsored by Texags.com. And, well, call-in kind of gives away really everything you need to know. It's 2 hours of your phone calls after every A&M home game. 2 hours. Dusty joins me. Louie, we take your phone calls for 2 hours of drunks, happiness, sorrow. We'll never win again. We're never going to lose again. It's a roller coaster of emotion during the course of a 3 or 4 month season, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I think you guys got to remember now is you'll have to plan ahead because I don't think someone will be calling you guys in anymore after games.
Oh, wow. So what are we, 5 minutes old and we're shots fired already?
Yeah, he's probably been taking shots all day.
Oh.
Someone, I mean.
Wow, that's even worse than mine.
Now, coming up here on the Zone Game Day Show,
we're off the air.
We're going to talk about Northwestern. Of course, we're going to talk about Texas A&M. I had a chance earlier this week to talk with Sam Torney. He's a member of the Game Day Enhancement Committee. There's a lot of new to 2018 for your game day experience. We're going to listen to that so that you can be prepared to experience everything that's Aggie football on a game day. Guys, I say we start with, I guess, the end and a new beginning of the oldest conversation of the offseason. Quarterback, Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher made it official. Kellen Mond is the starting quarterback. What I want to know is, let's say, what happened from January to Wednesday where Kellen Mond overtook Nick Starkel, and Kellen Mond your starting quarterback for the Northwestern State game.
Well, he got better. He apparently understood the offense and developed in that offense and won the team, as they say. I don't know why you wouldn't expect him to improve. I think we hear it all the time that all players, especially quarterbacks, get their most improvement between year one and year two. And didn't we see something similar just about 6 years ago?
So he improved more than Starkel because Starkel goes from year 1 to 2. Also, Starkel should have improved the most.
Well, I think he had more room to improve.
And Starkel was named the starting quarterback last year in their competition with a different coach and a different system. I think when you look at Jimbo Fisher, I'm sure, studied a lot of tape. Then he saw spring drills. He came out with his own conclusion, who is at the head that time. And then we all know a lot happens in the summer between the players and the coaches, particularly receivers and quarterbacks. And now with coaches allowed to have contact with them that's legal and see what's going on, and then you have the fall practice as well. So I'm with Olan. People don't realize so much evaluation has gone into this since they even left the last game at the Belk Bowl or the last maroon and white game. A lot of evaluation.
Yeah, and again, so many people wanted to judge Kellen Mond on what they saw last year from a true freshman that stepped in when he wasn't even expected to play. And, oh, by the way, if you go back and look at the Arkansas game, the fourth quarter against South Carolina, Florida, you can see, it wasn't like the guy was a terrible player. Was he quite ready to be a big-time SEC quarterback? No.
He needed to redshirt for a year, but they didn't have the luxury to redshirt him.
Absolutely, and yet he came in and did some nice things. So if you had that as a base and then you bring in a coach who's as adept at developing quarterbacks as Jimbo Fisher is and give him a whole nother offseason to work with the guy, why not expect him to make giant strides forward?
What happens, Louie, and you know it from all your callers, what's happened in our society is when it comes to selecting a coach, selecting a quarterback, we all think we know what's best. And sometimes those decisions take a while, so you become more emphatic in your decision. This guy should be the coach. This guy should be the quarterback.
Well, of course, and everyone has opinion. Their opinion is 100% strong. That's the word I like to use.
Then when it goes the other way, they just can't understand. You go back, to me, it really started when I really saw it getting worse and worse is when the Showers Manziel debate. You can look back and say, oh, no, there were a lot of people thought Showers should have been the starting quarterback. And now you come along and we've seen, oh, I want this coach, I want that coach. And I was always amazed, I'm sure Olan was, and you were, you walked up to people, oh, man, I don't know what they're talking about. Starkel's the best quarterback. I mean, look what he did in the Belk Bowl. Look what he did. Mon can't even take a snap. And I'm talking about fans, I'm saying like, whoa, are you out of practice? I mean, I don't even, I see them warm up. I don't see anything. You must know a lot more than I do. And, of course, that was a bad thing because I go, of course I do, Cessna. But, that's just what happens when you talk about a starting quarterback.
And I always say the danger, and, Texags Radio, Louie Belina Show, Chip Howard Sports Talk insert show here, is that we're talking about these competition, talking about those battles. We're not there.
Right.
We're not there when they're doing 7-on-7 in the summer. We watch the first 15, if we're lucky, 30 minutes of practice that's scripted and scheduled. And we're not there for the other 2 of the 2.5 hours of practice. That's why it's always dangerous when you're weighing in opinions and giving your observations of how things are going.
Right, because if you're giving your observations, what you're doing is observing warm-ups. And
drills.
Drills. If you can't look good as a college quarterback warming up, if you can't look good when you're throwing routes against nobody,
if you can't dominate air,
then you shouldn't be at Texas A&M. Everybody that's ever been recruited to Texas A&M should look good when you're warming up.
And something that there's no way I can evaluate from the end of spring until now with Starkel and Mond is toughness. And with Jimbo Fisher, toughness had to figure in. It's so big. And I'm not saying that Mond is way tougher than Starkel. I'm just saying that had to be part of the component. And I have no idea in a practice who is tougher.
Fall camp came out, what's the 3 things? Decision-making, attitude, and he has to be decision-making, accuracy, and he has to be the toughest guy on the team. One of his first statements of the attributes of a starting quarterback Jimbo Fisher put forth.
And apparently, Kellen Mond had an edge. I don't know if it's a big edge or a slight edge because Jimbo Fisher has told us that both guys are going to play. And he's been very forthcoming, very forthcoming and honest with us in the media all through the spring, all through August. So I don't know why now I would question that both guys are going to play. So it doesn't even mean that the difference is significant. It just means that he came out of there feeling like Kellen Mond had an edge.
And I agree with you 100% until we have that episode where – let's say, for example, Mond comes out and plays every snap deep into the fourth quarter, and then next time he says something, I'm going to say, wait a minute, Jimbo, you said both guys were really going to play equal. Did
he say equal? I don't ever remember the word.
He's going to play them. He's going to play them.
By the way, they were both going to play against Northwestern State, whether they announced me as the starter.
Okay, that's probably true.
So
that's true,
be careful. Coach talk here, guys.
But you're right. But I'm also saying is until Jimbo Fisher says something that's not correct, he said both will play. I expect both to play.
He's been very consistent in what he's told us. It has been honest, very been forthcoming. So as of right now, I have no reason to question it.
He talks about injuries, and so far what we've seen in fall camp, the injuries were exactly what he said as far as when they come back and whatever, pretty much.
But tonight, the performance against Northwestern State, both quarterbacks should thrive. That's just the nature of who they're going against. So basically, unless something extreme happens either way, and I've described it as 0 for 10 or 10 for 10. If one of them goes 0 for 10 passing and one goes 10 for 10, minus that, can anything really happen tonight that would change 9 months' worth of data that the coaching staff's collected? Anything unless it's extreme, 0 for 10 or 10 for 10.
Well, extreme. You talked to the people, and someone said to me, "Okay, what happens? Who's going to be a starting quarterback when Mon fumbles 4 snaps tonight against Northwestern State?"
Again.
And I said, "Well, we'll wait and see when that happens."
But that's a question for any program. That's not a Mon Starkle question.
But I understand. But we're just covering it. I'm only covering this team right now, so I'm just saying that's the question.
I wonder why anyone would even say that. Does someone expect Kellen Mond to fumble 4 starters?
Because when people want to argue, they just want to be right, and they put absurdities forward. What if he throws 7 picks on his first 7? He'll be pulled after the 4th. What's the question?
I'm saying there are Starkle lovers out there right now that aren't happy.
And you know, and here's the deal with that.
Starkle lovers?
Well, I think I've run into some. We had one call us on our show today. It said there's absolutely no way that Kellen Mond is as good as Nick Starkle. I'm like, whoa. How many practice have you been in, and how many quarterbacks have you developed in the first-round picks?
And what did Mr. Starkle say?
But,
now.
Shot fired number 3. Now, here's what it comes down to, though. It's the definition of quarterback. Because I'll say this. I, in no way, shape, or form, right now, sitting here, it's 4:42. Do I believe that Kellen Mond's a better passer than Nick Starkle? No. I don't care how much strides. A year later, I don't think that gap changed like that in 9 months. Sorry, not buying into it. But the totality of what it means to be a quarterback for Jimbo Fisher, that's what Kellen Mond could have passed Starkle on. And we talked about it. Leadership, toughest guy on the team. Jimbo laid out everything his quarterback needed to be, and that accuracy, i.e. the passing, was one of the planks. It wasn't the only thing he said. So I can believe that Kellen Mond, in total, passed Starkle. I don't believe that right now that Mond passed Starkle in passing. No.
Well, if you were going to say, and it's almost around here sometimes you hesitate to, at least I do, to praise Mond too much because it's too often interpreted as, so you're being anti-Starkle. That couldn't be
correct.
That's just not the case. But what if you're ranking Starkle, his passing on a scale from 1 to 10? Right now he's an 8.
Okay.
And what if you say Kellen Mond's a 7? And then you put in their elusiveness and ability to extend plays,
and you say total score,
and you say Kellen Mond's a 9 and Starkle's a 5.
You start doing total score,
right? So
that's what I was just saying. Yep.
And I'm not so sure that, once again, I'm not a practice stat. Mond, I would agree with your statement at the end of last season, but I'm not so sure that maybe Mond from passes less than 25 yards. He caught Starkle in accuracy in the way he delivered them.
He had to come a long way, and if that's true, Ainham's going to have a great year.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Okay,
if it happened in the passing, it'll come a long way. Kellen Mond had trouble because he didn't develop in season in the ability to read. And because he didn't have the ability to read defenses, he was having trouble finding the open receiver. He compensated by looking down receivers, and then he had accuracy problem. And we talked about it. True freshman. Everything we said falls under that category, right? He had to come a long way in a lot of categories to catch up to Starkle.
That's true, but if it clicks, then what you're saying is true. He finally has great accuracy. He knows where he's putting the ball.
Then the elusiveness and everything else, he is better than Starkle.
But we weren't there.
Yep. But how much better, right? We don't know.
We don't know.
Again, I can't believe I almost said what I said. Fisher.
What'd you say? I know what you said.
Fran?
Fisher.
You went
Fisher.
Fran.
I almost said
somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah. Anyway, Fisher, again, says, hey, this is a guy that's won, but I'm confident and comfortable with both guys. So that if he's being forthcoming, that tells me, again, it's not a big difference between them.
When we return, we will continue with the quarterback because I want to take it from who won the competition to kind of like, the expectation for tonight, because that's the whole thing. Now that he's announced as the starter, everybody, okay, I need to see 10 touchdowns. What we're going to need to see. We're just getting started. It is game day, and this is the Zone Game Day Show sponsored by TexAgs.com.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm a gravel truck. I'm busy laying the foundation for your city's newest suburb. You're stuck behind me, and I'm about to make it rain. Rocks. Now you're swerving, but there's no avoiding this downpour. Better watch out for that guardrail. So get Allstate, where agents help protect you from mayhem.
like me. Call Class of 82 BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson at 764-0015. Subject to terms, conditions, availability, and coverage selected. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Now serving Grimes County. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-BOND. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated, class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years and now serving Grimes County. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos Courthouse, 116 North Washington Avenue in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND or visit GageGandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated, class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos County Courthouse in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Or visit GageGandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
Fender benders, parking lot challenges, scrapes, bruises, and bumps. I'm vehicle challenged when it comes to avoiding objects that get in my way. Hi, I'm Mary Mike Hatcher for Oscar & Sons Body Shop. My car is my second office, and it's so important to keep it looking great. Oscar & Sons Body Shop has done just that. As a family affair for over 40 years, they remove cosmetic blemishes to major auto body repair. Google Oscar & Sons. They'll come to you with a free estimate for your repairs. Oscar & Sons Body Shop. They wreck it, we fix it.
Ever get up close and personal with a scorpion? Then when you go to get rid of it, you can't find it? They hide pretty well. This is Bobby Jenkins with ABC Home and Commercial Services, and we know where scorpions hide. With ABC's control plan, our specialists will treat and quickly get them out of your home. Additionally, ABC specialists undergo background screenings so you can feel comfortable having us in your home. ABC Home and Commercial Services, specialists for your environment.
For courteous service, just call ABC Home and Commercial Services.
Get more connected to your favorite shows, guest alerts, show start reminders, and more. Follow us at Zone 1150 on Twitter.
Don't forget to make the Zone Game Day show a part of each and every Texas A&M game day. Home or road, we'll start 3 hours before kickoff, spend 2 hours just getting you ready. That's really all we're doing out here. Louie Belina, Olan Bucanin, Robert Cessna. We will gather together here on the home games. The three of us will be with you, getting you ready. We're talking quarterback because that was the conversation of the offseason. Kellen Mond's the starter. I want to throw out what do you need to see tonight to prove to you Kellen Mond's turned corners? What do you need to see tonight, to know that Kellen Mond is the true starting quarterback at Texas A&M?
Efficiency.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I want to see a guy that comes out and just runs the offense, that there's not a lot of mistakes. There's not a lot of things where they're having to take timeouts because they're in a bad play or in a wrong play. I just want to see an efficient game. He doesn't have to go out there and throw for 400 yards. I don't think he doesn't. I don't expect him. I mean, he could have long touchdown runs. That's not even I think necessary. I think what you want to see is a guy that just looks like he is in control, doesn't turn the ball over, reads defense, gets the team into what appears to be successful plays, and a successful play can be a 4-yard gain. And then, you get a sense that he delivered the ball to the right guy.
And we'll know that probably in the Monday press conference when Fisher could tell us how many times he was able to go to this second option. I want to, as you said, I want him locking in on the receiver. I want him to go progression 1, not there, go to progression 2. I make a nice 8-yard pass, move on. And some of that we're not going to know to Monday, but getting back, that's exactly the word I was thinking was efficiency. And you're right, Louie. They're playing Northwestern State. They should do well, but, do they throw the ball in front of the receiver, not a half yard behind, and makes a tough
accuracy.
catch? Because he's got to do that against Clemson. He can't do it against, this is a good training, and we'll all watch those things with the other coaches in the stands.
Against Northwestern State, you're going to have an open receiver probably on every snap. Find him. And then when you throw it to him, does he have to reach back, up, down? If you're throwing a sideline route, is the ball actually going to the sideline, or are they reaching back in the field to play? It's very simple concepts.
And even the guy that made the joke, but get a clean snap for your center. The lights are on. I don't want to know who the center is. I just want to see 68, 70, 78 snaps tonight. No problem there. The ones under center. And when they're in the shotgun, I want to see the quarterback catching the ball, not bobbling it, and that slight second is going to be costly against Clemson.
I think the Aggie fans are going to have to adjust to the new offense. It was one of those things, you look at the number of snaps per play and pace of play and everything. And, Florida State under Jimbo Fisher is one of the slowest in the country. That's not a negative. So's Alabama. It's okay. But Kevin Sumlin teams were in a top third kind of thing in number of plays per time. Even after they slowed down for the first 2 years of Johnny, they actually still ran, at a certain pace of plays per game. So this is going to be a different tempo, even of offense. You'll have a chance to actually sip your Coke up in the stands now between plays.
Now, be clear, there are going to be sometimes they're going to push tempo, but they're going to do it based on feel. They say, hey, Phil, we feel like we might have them on their heels a little bit. Let's push tempo, try to go up tempo, try to move the ball, go faster and see if we can't go score. And then there are other times that the field says, okay, let's slow it down. Let's give our defense a little chance to rest, and let's see if we can control the ball.
That tempo shift, is that how he chose his OC? Something he wanted to implement that he didn't really do a lot of?
I agree with you, Lou. I was just going to add to what Olan said. What Daryl Dickey, the two of them have so much experience. When Daryl shouts down, hey, they haven't changed our defense. We got great edge on offense. Let's go. So you go up and you try to get 3 or 4 plays in a row because the other team's not making the adjustments. You got to like the receivers you're in. And I think, we talked a lot about why bring in Daryl Dickey, and Fisher's going to call his own game, but obviously he likes the way Dickey thinks, and Dickey thinks a lot like evidently Jimbo Fisher. So when he makes a suggestion, I think Jimbo's going to maybe run it a little bit more than if he'd have brought in somebody else or just kept somebody else, young quarterbacks coach.
I think one of the teams in the country that did best tempo shift was Oklahoma, because Oklahoma didn't run an up-tempo, but whenever they saw the wrong personnel trapped on the field, they were snapping Oregon-style tempo, and they marched down the field. They never ran up-tempo. That wasn't their base offense, but when they got bad personnel defensively, they locked them on the field as quick as they could and marched. They would blitzkrieg teams.
Yeah, I heard R.C. Slocum say earlier today,
on the Paul Feinbaum show here on The Zone, I heard it too.
If you're going up-tempo all the time, sometimes you score fast, sometimes you turn it over fast, sometimes you're out fast, and all the time your defense is sitting there going, okay, we're getting back out there again. And what was the stat a year or two ago that A&M defensively played so many more plays than LSU?
Snaps.
It was equivalent to 3 more games.
It was unbelievable. And you had a bad defense to start with. So let's put them out
there
there more.
That made it worse.
Yeah, it made it worse.
That's why it was 3 times, not 2 times. It was 2 times because of the offensive tempo. It was 3 times because of the defense itself.
But they were scoring a lot of points at times against bad teams.
One thing I do – one thing in the time we have left here before we hit CBS Sports Flash, top of the hour, sticking in just with the offensive side of things, I know people are waiting to cheer. People want to go nuts with the first tight end touchdown. And Jay Sternberger, he's been one of the hot talking points, that spring game. God, Jimbo Fisher has not passed on the opportunity to explain, 1955 football? That's Jay Sternberger, right? So I know he's let's call it a spotlight player tonight. I almost feel like they need to get him a touchdown for the Aggie psyche.
Well, you know what? I think Aggies are going to go erupt just when he catches a pass. What was
true?
I think all of A&M's tight ends combined. I'm sure the numbers aren't exactly right here, but combined they had like 8 catches for 80 yards.
Something like that.
Everybody for the whole season.
Everybody.
So if he catches the first time he throws the ball to the tight end, I think everybody's going to respond to that because they understand that the tight end can be a really valuable piece, to a football team, and we haven't seen it. And for the last several years, they had a guy that would have been a perfect guy at tight end. He's now playing tight end in the NFL, but they opted not to use it. That offense didn't.
He opted to.
Well, you know what? you can
he
be
opted to not play tight end.
Yeah, but you can be the coach. Say, hey, you're going to play tight end, or you're not going to play.
True.
Or you can come to him and say, listen, I know you want to be wide out, but let me tell you the facts. If you want to play in the NFL, this is the position that you're going to make it. And if you go ahead and start playing it now, your chances of getting drafted are going to be much better.
And if I'm talking about taking leadership in that huddle tonight, he needs to go, okay, Jace, we're going at you this play. Please don't drop it, because the fans will just start crying.
I don't want my quarterbacks talking about the negative effects of plays.
I know. I'm just laughing. I'm just, just kidding.
But if what we saw in the spring, and I usually take what happens in the spring with a grain of salt.
Jason Carter.
I'm stunned you're referencing it.
But
I'm stunned right now.
But I'm saying if what we saw in the spring is any indication of what this guy is going to contribute, throw at him. Throw at him a lot, because he was spectacular in the spring.
And when we're out watching, and you're right, it was only warmest, but the guy's got great hands. I mean, he just almost like he has stick-em a la Lester Hayes.
Don't forget he's a tight end. Another part is blocking.
I understand.
And over the past 3 to 5 years, when A&M's brought a tight end to block, it's usually something converted from something, and they've usually been awful. It has been to the defense's benefit every time A&M's had a tight end blocking.
You're right.
For about 4 or 5 years now.
It's like the defense.
That could change the whole run game. Is if the tight end's in and they call a run play, you didn't just go advantage defensive front.
It was so interesting because I would see guys like Caden Smith, who was or Compton. Guys that were, like you said, converted to play tight end, play more than guys who were tight ends that were brought in. But this guy, first of all, Jimbo Fisher, his whole background, he used the tight end. He had Nick O'Leary, who's in the NFL now at Florida State. He likes to use the tight end position to throw to. He likes that tight end to help the running game. He's going to use the tight end. It's not like somebody who has a 4-wide offense and this says, we're going to use the tight end. Well, why would you? To do what? Because if you're gonna, then why are you gonna have a 4-wide? And he says, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna run here and then throw back to the tight end on 4th and 1.
Let's get a 35-second developing play on 4th and goal from the 1.
With my contract on the line.
We're going to take a timeout. Oh, boy. And when we return, we're going to get you up to date on the game day enhancements for 2018. We're going to talk a lot about the Aggie football players, the spotlight tonight, the new to expect. We will get you a Northwestern State preview. We do everything. It's the Zone Game Day show. Louie Belina, Olan Bucanin, Robert Cessna, the trio. We hang out here till 6:30. It's the Zone Game Day show, sponsored by TexAgs.com.
Aggie Football's here, and transportation services, parking, and shuttle options are different for the first Thursday game. All game day parking for Thursday football starts at 3:30 p.m. The only available cash parking is $20 in Research Park and Agronomy Road. Reserve parking near Kyle Field through the Park mobile app. Free shuttles to the game are available on and off campus, including downtown Bryan and Momentum Plaza. Tailgate drop-off for Football Thursday is Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. only. Visit footballthursday.tamu.edu or the Destination Aggieland app for more info.
You need help if you've been charged with a crime. The justice system is daunting. You need an experienced defense lawyer to obtain the best results for you. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has been helping people fight criminal charges for over 20 years. Call Steve Gustitis now to schedule your free consultation. 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Let Steve Gustitis put his experience to work for you. 823-9111. Visit GustitisLaw.com today and get the help that you need.
Sports Flash. I'm Rich Ackerman. Colin Kaepernick's collusion case has some legs and is headed to court. An arbitrator denied the NFL's request that his grievance be thrown out. Kaepernick's claimed that the owners conspired against him because of his views on social injustice. The NFL preseason comes to a close tonight with a full schedule of preseason games as jobs still on the line for several teams and roster spots still up for grabs. The Patriots today reworked Rob Gronkowski's contract that will give him an additional $4 million for the upcoming season. Day baseball today, the Brewers topped the Reds 2-1 in 11, while the Indians got past the Twins 5-3. Jason Kipnis' 3-run homer was the difference in that one. The Astros have given manager A.J. Hinch an extension through 2022, while the tightest division race in baseball remains the National League West, where one game separates the top 3 teams, and 2 of them go up against each other tonight. The Dodgers are a game behind the Diamondbacks and host Arizona tonight. LA has stayed alive with a 5-game winning streak, which manager Dave Roberts says has been made possible because of a strong bullpen.
They've allowed us to stay in each game, and we're in the midst of the longest winning streak we've had all year, and that's directly related to that starting pitch.
College football tonight. Number 21, UCF, kicks off its first season under new head coach Josh Heupel at UConn. Day 4 at the U.S. Open, Novak Djokovic and Maria Sharapova on the Arthur Ashe Stadium court tonight. Earlier today there, Roger Federer, a straight sets winner. Angelique Kerber needed 3 sets to move on. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Have a Take, the Jim Rome Show. Weekday afternoons on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
Speakers, a reminder, our lightning talks are limited to 30 seconds. The subject, Dr. Elms.
Dr. Elms is a very talented orthodontist.
I agree. He's quite experienced.
That's so very true.
Dr. Elms' patients like him, his team, and their cool office.
So, to sum up, Dr. Elms, talented, experienced, fun, convenient, great smiles, happy parents, beautiful results.
Agreed.
DrElms.com.
Uncork and unwind at Peach Creek Vineyards, a unique Texas vineyard and winery located right here in College Station. Enjoy local wines as you experience the tranquility and peace of Texas country charm found at Peach Creek Vineyards. Sip with friends in the tasting room or under the pavilion overlooking the vineyards and ponds. Open Tuesday through Friday, 3 to 6, Saturday from noon to 6, and Sundays by appointment. Learn more at peachcreekvineyards.com and find Peach Creek Vineyards on Facebook for upcoming events. Aggie Football is here, and transportation services, parking, and shuttle options are different for the first Thursday game. All game day parking for Thursday football starts at 3:30 p.m. The only available cash parking is $20 in Research Park and Agronomy Road. Reserve parking near Kyle Field through the Park mobile app. Free shuttles to the game are available on and off campus, including downtown Bryan and Momentum Plaza. Tailgate drop-off for football Thursday is Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. only. Visit footballthursday.tamu.edu or the Destination Aggieland app for more info.
Fender benders, parking lot challenges, scrapes, bruises, and bumps. I'm vehicle challenged when it comes to avoiding objects that get in my way. Hi, I'm Mary Mike Hatcher for Oscar & Sons Body Shop. My car is my second office, and it's so important to keep it looking great. Oscar & Sons Body Shop has done just that. As a family affair for over 40 years, they remove cosmetic blemishes to major auto body repair. Google Oscar & Sons. They'll come to you with a free estimate for your repairs. Oscar & Sons Body Shop. They wreck it, we fix it.
So you've got bed bugs in your blankets and the weeds have whipped your grass. Those pesky ants are taking over and the shrubs are growing fast. If your sprinkler system's broken, hey, don't make a dozen calls. We're the ones to trust because ABC solves it all. You say your trees could use a trimming and there's landscape to install. Hungry termites feasting on the porch, you don't know who to call. We're specialists and we're the best for your environment. We're tried and true, still here for you. ABC Home and Commercial Services.
You work hard and play hard. Now it's time you save hard at Atkinson Toyota's Labor Day Repo Joe Sale. Thursday through Labor Day Monday only. Shop Atkinson Toyota's huge selection of used cars for every budget. Over 160 of the best trade-ins, auction cars, lease terminations, and repos. $27 down delivers with payments from $89 a month clearly posted on every vehicle windshield. Stock number 99286, 2006 Toyota Corolla. Selling price $53.99. 72 months at 2.99% APR. $27 down plus tax, title, and license with approved credit.
Repo Joe here. No matter what your budget is or what vehicle you're looking for, the Repo Joe sale has it all. Our payments are clearly posted, so it's easy to see your savings on the spot.
27 down and $89 a month. The payments are clearly posted. The savings are too big to miss. Hurry for best selection.
Visit RepoJoe.com to find your bargain.
Then rush to Atkinson Toyota in Bryan and Madisonville for the Repo Joe sale through Labor Day Monday. Subject to prior sale.
Talk Texas A&M and the SEC with TexAgs Radio. Louie Belina, Paul Feinbaum, and Chip Howard. Weekdays on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM. This is KZNE, KNDE HD3 and K274CM College Station Bryan.
It is the Zone Game Day Show, sponsored by TexAgs.com. Louie Belina, Olan Bucanin, and Robert Cessna. We hang out with you on game days. Home, that's the three of us. On the road, you'll get Dusty, Bryce, and Cease. We'll let you determine which one is better. We don't want you to choose sides. It's like which kid is the prettiest. We're all beautiful in our own way. One of the things I wanted to do today on the Zone Game Day Show was get you ready for the new game day experience. As you're making your way to Kyle Field, what can you experience before the game? But there's also a lot of changes that are about to happen during the game. I had the chance earlier this week to visit with Sam Torn. He's a member of the Game Day Enhancement Task Force. Here is everything you need to know. Sam, why don't you share with people what the Game Day Enhancement Task Force is? Because it can sound mysterious, like meeting in dark rooms or behind curtains or in vaults or somewhere. What is the Game Day Enhancement Task Force?
Okay, thanks for asking. The Game Day Experience Task Force is a joint effort between the 12th Man Foundation, the athletic department, and the university to ensure that the experience on game day, really game week, at Texas A&M, inside and outside of Kyle Field, is the premier experience in all of the country. We already know that Kyle Field is a unique experience. We already know it gets rave reviews from opposing fans, but we also know, Louie, that, you know, what fans want, the younger generations want, are changing. And we also know that in college football, attendance has been declining everywhere except the SEC. Student attendance has been declining. So what we want to make sure that we're able to do is keep all of what is really good about Kyle Field while still enhancing some things to provide an even better experience throughout game week for all of the Texas A&M fans and the opposing fans.
You said something. There's a word in there that fascinates me. Week. Not game day, Saturday. Of course, this week it'll be Thursday. But, you know, a Saturday game week. How does the task force, what have you guys identified? How do you turn it into a game week?
Well, there's several things in there, some short-term and some long-term, but it has to do with everything from how the cities of Bryan and College Station and the hotel, restaurant community, entertainment community embrace every week of Texas A&M football. We basically, long-term, want to make it into a Super Bowl week. And also everything from tailgating setup and enhancements to student ticket pull, all those sorts of things, midnight yell practice, all those sorts of things that take place in the week preceding the game have been analyzed, the issues identified, and enhancements, both long and short term, have been put into place or will be put into place.
How does the task force go about gathering the information? How do you go about analyzing? You know, where do you get the data from in the first place?
Great question. First of all, the task force was made up of about 13 members from all facets of the university. We had over 150 participants in our work groups, of which there were 11. And then we went out to Texas Aggies in several ways. First of all, we did some focus groups. From the focus groups, we did some site visits to other places just to see what they were doing and see if anything could be adapted. But most importantly, we did a survey. We surveyed all of our season ticket holders. We surveyed a representative group of students. We surveyed high-frequency single-game buyers. We even surveyed people that had stopped buying season tickets and asked them about their experience at Kyle Field, around Kyle Field, parking technology, in the stadium, concessions, and they responded. And, of course, we analyzed and segmented those results and have tailored our enhancements to those responses.
Interesting. What caught your attention? Because there's always expectation versus reality / the results. When you got back these fan survey results, and man, talk about comprehensive and hitting all the different categories, what caught your attention? What were a couple of surprises for you?
I don't know if surprises is a great word, but I think what was very interesting is that people love the unique traditions of Texas A&M. And, you know, in years past, we had become too scripted in our game day presentation. And so what we did starting last year, and it was well received by the survey respondents, is we unscripted the yell leaders, we unscripted the band. We said, nobody's got a headset. You guys do whatever you want to, whenever you want to do it. That was well received. What was also well received was the younger fans, our students and our fans under 30, really like this concept of a music operator in the stadium who doesn't compete with the band, doesn't compete with the yell leaders, but in those times, there's so many commercials these days, provide some additional entertainment and stuff like that. So they really enjoyed that. I think most fans want to make sure that they're getting good value and good quality in their food experience. That's been an issue, quite frankly, in the past, but there's been a lot of work done on that. And then this is not directly answering your question, but, there's been some things that are important to Jimbo Fisher that are going to be adjusted for this year. For instance, Jimbo really likes to emphasize the fourth quarter. And so traditionally we play the war hymn at the end of the third quarter. We'll still do that. We won't mess with that. But we're going to add a few things in that will allow the crowd to get in with the team and enhance the fourth quarter. The entry of the team, Jimbo would like to emphasize more the 12th man. He believes that the 12th man is one of the great traditions in all of college football, so we're going to do some things that will emphasize more the concept of the 12th man. And then also at halftime, you've always heard the slogan that maybe the most important part of a game is the first 5 minutes of the second half. So Jimbo will have a more formal entrance of his team in the second half, and he wants the fans to be engaged in that. We've also done a lot of things inside the stadium in terms of concessions. We've added 2 premium towers on the northeast and the northwestern concession areas that will have additional beverage selections, which also means there's going to be some beer served in those areas. We've added a Pepsi marketplace in the southeast corner. And so we're constantly trying to work to create, this experience in the stadium. But outside the stadium, we've always had a fan zone. But quite frankly, there hadn't been a whole lot to do for the fans in the fan zone. So this year we're going to have about 11 food trucks of some great local vendors available. We're going to have live music before every game. We've got a kids zone with like 7 inflatables. We've opened up Victory Street in the Hall of Champions, so that's more available to fans. And so fans are just going to have a lot more options and a lot more entertainment, I guess you would say, things they can experience prior to the game.
Now, you mentioned, getting me hyped here, you mentioned some fourth quarter fans getting in. Jimbo emphasized. Any more detail you can give us, or we just got to find out Thursday night?
I think you need to wait until Thursday night, but I will tell you that the football program has worked closely with 12th Man Productions on things. Because remember, what's important is to resonate with the football players, okay? All of these enhancements inside the stadium to create a more intimidating environment are designed to resonate with football players. Well, football players are 18 to 22-year-olds. And so that's what it's going to be aimed at, to make sure that the football team knows that the crowd is behind them and it's going to resonate with their mindset as an 18 to 22-year-old.
Now, when it says resonate with the football players, that also strikes me as resonating with recruits, too. It seems to strike on 2 different chords if you accomplish that goal.
If the shoe fits, wear it, Louie. Recruiting's the name of the game.
Amen to that. We're visiting with Sam Torn. He is a member of the Game Day Enhancement Task Force, kind enough to join us, share a little bit of the knowledge of what's going on and what the task force does. Now, Sam, you mentioned the modernization of things. There was 2 things that kind of caught my attention that I'm looking forward to checking out. One, there's going to be live streaming of the Aggie experience. You mentioned how important traditions are, but for people that are interested, they're going to be able to get live streaming of the Spirit Walk and the Core March.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So the step off from the quad, the Core March in, the Spirit Walk are all going to be live streamed, so you can view those things on your mobile device, whether you're tailgating on the west side and can't get over to see those things, or whether you're in Okinawa, Japan, you're going to be able to live stream those things and see them. And as time goes on, that ability and what we're able to do with that is going to be, enhanced, subject to the certain rules and regulations of the television networks.
Sure. Now, what app do they need to download so they can watch the live stream of the Spirit Walk and the Core March?
Well, it's going to be live streamed on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And quite frankly, I can't tell you the name of these actual accounts. I'll have to check that out. But you caught me on that one.
No, fair enough. I mean, look, Hey, we got Google, and people that are on those, platforms can find them. But the important thing is to know they'll be live streaming of Spirit Walk and Core-March. So even if you're not at the game, even if you're across the country, you can watch these. Even if you're going to watch the football game at home, don't make your way out to Kyle Field. Now, 12thmanlive.com, sticking with, because I'm a big fan of this. This is the world I live in. My phone is, a supercomputer now. But if you go to 12thmanlive.com, you can do the mobile experience, and it can end up being your game day program for you.
That's correct, and that's an enhancement as well. And technology is a big part of what we're doing. So we're just getting started with these interactive features that you're going to be able to see on 12thmanlive.com. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, 12thmanlive.com. Make it your game day, because that will be your lineup for the day, and you'll be able to find out what's happening when. And if you can't make it there, you'll be able to experience it there. Now, Sam, what else do you feel like people need to know of the upcoming enhancements for our Game Day 2018?
Well, a couple of things. One is that tailgating is a huge thing at Texas A&M. And the tailgating enhancements that are going to occur over a couple-year period. But one thing we're doing this year, which I think a lot of people will want to take advantage of, is we're opening up Reed Arena and Bluebell Park so that fans can use the restrooms and get into some air conditioning if they need to do that, as opposed to just using, the remote bath facilities that are out in the streets and stuff. So I think that's going to be a good thing for folks, and they need to be aware of that. And then I think just as we evolve with Midnight Yell Practice, Midnight Yell Practice is a unique tradition. It's never going to change, but we're going to start doing some things that will maybe provide some entertainment, before as the students are filling in and fans are filling in, that are going to provide some entertainment beforehand, and maybe some more interactive things video-wise with the football coaches and the football teams, just so that to make that whole experience a better experience as we maintain its uniqueness. That will even lead into hopefully in the future a fan experience on Friday around the stadium, being connected to Midnight Yell Practice, and also being connected. One of the things we want to do is create some synergy with our other fall sports. We've got a great soccer program at Texas A&M. They hadn't given up a goal this year. We have a great volleyball program under a new volleyball coach. And so many fans are in town on Friday and are not able to take advantage of those. So we're going to create some synergy by allowing people to be able to be admitted to those other contests if they're going to the football game. So that's a couple of other big things we're doing. And then other than that, I think mainly is the band's going to stay amplified. People loved that last year. And I think, just this whole idea of having an intimidating winning environment is what people are going to see a lot of.
Sam, is there a place where I can see the upcoming changes or get updates on the upcoming changes, keep track of what all's about to happen?
Yes, and it will be in that same location, I believe, 12thmanlive.com.
That was my interview with Sam Torn. He's a member of the Game Day Task Force Commission. I wanted to catch you up, let you in on all the enhancements, changes, things to look forward to on your game day experiences at Kyle Field, Texas A&M football. When we return, I'll be joined by Olan and Cease again, and it's time to look more at A&M expectations, player spotlights, and still to come a Northwestern State preview. You're listening, you're hanging out with the Zone Game Day Show, sponsored by TexAgs.com.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm an extremely average golfer. I take my first full swing of the day and hit a perfect duck hook over the frontage road and right through your windshield. You yank the wheel and end up OB in a water hazard. And if you have cut rate insurance, you could be out a whole lot of green. So get Allstate.
Call Class of 82 BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson at 764-0015. Subject to terms, conditions, availability, and coverage selected. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, content and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Aggie Football's here, and transportation services, parking, and shuttle options are different for the first Thursday game. All game day parking for Thursday football starts at 3:30 p.m. The only available cash parking is $20 in Research Park and Agronomy Road. Reserve parking near Kyle Field through the Park mobile app. Free shuttles to the game are available on and off campus, including downtown Bryan and Momentum Plaza. Tailgate drop-off for Football Thursday is Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. only. Visit footballthursday.tamu.edu or the Destination Aggieland app for more info.
Be good to your vehicle, and it'll be good to you. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia from Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube. And while that's a simple concept, it's so true. We're a full-service oil and lube shop with years of experience. And that experience tells us to always go the extra mile for our customers. Like topping off fluids for free on most vehicles and free tire pressure checks.
See Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube on Villa Maria at 2818 next to Raleigh Car Wash, or at East William J. Bryan next to the main post office.
Every 12 minutes, someone dies from opioid addiction. It's a unique addiction, and only one treatment network focuses exclusively on this one thing: crushing opioid addiction.
Symmetry Recovery. One mission, 3 key elements.
Medication, behavioral therapy, and an outpatient setting.
With a success rate 4 times the industry average.
Call 844-847-6999. For you or a loved one, that's 844-847-6999.
Hey, opioid addiction, we've got your number.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
This is the Zone FM 102.7 on Sports Radio 1150.
The Zone Game Day Show is sponsored by TexAgs.com. Louie Belina, Olan Bucanin, and Robert Cessna. We're hanging out on the lawn of the Association of Former Students building. We've got the most beautiful view of Kyle Field. Normally, I would say we have the most beautiful view of tailgating, but kind of as suspected for a Thursday game. Maybe over at the Reed Arena area, maybe across the tracks, but the normal Spence Park here tailgating not quite happening on a Thursday day game.
Maybe everybody's just over at the Texags tailgate.
Of course. Well, where else would they be?
There's more bars around town these days. I read there's even a bar real close to a hotel here, so probably a lot of people in there.
I'm sure there is.
Hey, Olan, real quick, you, Gabe, Texags Radio, you guys are broadcasting from the brand new on-campus hotel this morning. How did it go? I only saw still photos. Place looks amazing.
It is amazing. It's and of course you can't beat the location, but what really made it fun. Not only did Gabe have some great guests.
Billy had what?
No, they had some great guests. But not only that, but just there were so many Aggies that came to just to be part of the crowd and to interact and cheer and things like that. And everybody was having a good time. Of course, we made sure that there was Bloody Marys and mimosas to help them have a good time, but it was a great
comment
atmosphere.
After the show relayed to me by someone who was at the show was, who knew how many people had that kind of free time to drink at 10 a.m.?
There's a lot of successful Aggies out there. What's the old joke? What do you call an Aggie 5 years after he graduates?
Mr.
Boss.
Oh, boss, sorry.
And so if you're the boss, you can pretty much do what you want to, right?
Olin's Day's done at 10, so you just go right in and start having a few shots.
I wanted to jump into Aggie Football 2018 before kickoff, and I wanted to get into the areas, of course, confident and we'll say concerned. Which category? I want to start with confident. I want to start the things that we feel the best about, the things you think you believe positive the most about. Olan, I'll let you start off. We'll call it the number one thing you feel the most confident about for Aggie football this upcoming year.
That Travion Williams is going to have a big year. First of all, as long as he stays healthy, he's as electrifying and explosive a running back as A&M has had since Leland McElroy. So, he's a guy that's just always just one step or one good block away from turning what for a lot of guys would be a 5-yard game to a 50-yard game. And I think with now that he's healthy and he's even bulked up, so in theory make him even more durable and able to run between the tackles more. The way they plan to feature him and the way they've blocking different blocking schemes and adding the fullback and the tight end, I'm so convinced that Travion Williams is going to have a big year.
Can I throw a counter? Just to test with it. He is too dependent on his offensive line, and they might be the number one concern. So how can you be so confident on a big year from Travion when
the same thing.
The biggest thing he's tied into, the O-line, might be, and we'll talk about that later, the biggest concern of the team?
Same concerns last year and even the year before to a certain degree, maybe not as great, but 2 years ago he still rushed for 1,000 yards behind a similar offensive line, and maybe a little bit better, but still rushed for 1,000 yards while getting minimal carries. I mean, it's not like it was a guy. I think he's averaged 13 carries of his career. Secondly, he had a 800 yards last year and played almost the whole year with a bad ankle, and that was behind the same offensive line. Which this year I think it'll be better for several reasons. But he's just so explosive. You don't have to be a dominating blocker for him to turn a play into a big play. You just have to get in the way of somebody, keep him off him for a minute.
Since you're the most confident, that's your number one
Yes.
thing is Travion Williams. Want to give us an over/under for total yards?
I've already said I think he's going to have a 1,500-yard year. I think he's
Now that's total, or are you going straight rushing?
Straight rushing.
Because I think he's going to have receiving yards this year.
Yeah, he is.
Which kind of changes the equation on him a little bit. Because I could see him rushing for the 13, 14. I'll go 1350, but I could see him tack another 300 catching. And he'd be a 16, 1,700 total yard guy.
If you play 13 games, that's 1,500 yards, about 115 yards a game average. And I know that's not easy to come by, but for this guy, I don't see why, as long as he's healthy, I don't see why that seems outlandish.
I did the math in my head. The only thing that makes that average seem higher than it really is, because you're not going to play 4 quarters against Northwestern State and UAB. So he can't rack up 200 yards if he was left in for 4 quarters. Clemson, Alabama, he might not make the 100-yard mark. I'm going to go ahead and say he won't, actually.
But
so you got to
Ole Miss,
recompensate the average over those.
A couple bad teams, Ole Miss, Arkansas, he might get 200.
But let's understand, he can get 80 of those in one carry.
Yes. The big playability of him is beautiful.
And so, I'm absolutely sold on the guy. How many times do you have to – he has that amazing acceleration. And how many, 1 step, 2 steps, and he's at full speed. How many times do you have to see him break long runs? I think he's had something like 15 in his career, over 30 yards, to just go ahead and accept, man, this guy is just a package of dynamite.
The only way I'll also side a little bit with Louie is
because
he has a history of had an ankle injury last year. When you're playing Alabama and Clemson and you're going to be more of a power game, I'm with you. If I was a betting man, I'd put the over and under as 1,200 yards rushing, but I think there are things that I'm concerned about. His ankle, he's had injuries before, and I'm not sold on the offensive line.
Got to hope the bulk up takes care of the ankle, takes care of the injury part. The bulking up a little bit is to be in more of an SEC line tailback to provide him more durability.
And again, I understand the concern and the apprehension about the offensive line. Everybody does. But let's understand something too. You started a true freshman most of the year at tackle. He's now a sophomore. Had a year to get to develop. I thought when Dan Moore played last year, I thought that he was good. And again, he was a true freshman, I think, going out there and playing. I thought he did okay, and now I expect him to be better as a sophomore. The best thing about freshmen, they become sophomores. I have no question about Eric McCoy. Sutherland is a senior. Jared Hocker, if he's that left guard, he needs to prove himself. And then there's the whole change in the blocking scheme and philosophy, and I think that's going to make a big difference. I don't know. Look, here's a guy that's rushed for 1,800 yards in 2 seasons on an offense that doesn't want to feature the run.
Doesn't want to run the ball. Not physical, not tough.
So all those things, I'm really bullish.
So let me ask the next Travion question for you. How many carries a game you think he's going to get?
I think he's going to average around 20.
Okay. You think he's durable enough for 20 a game?
Yeah,
Take the hits for 20 a game?
Yeah, I don't see that 20 is that outlandish. I mean, back in the day, you remember, I mean, I know football has changed, but.
Oh, no, back in the day, if you were a true featured back, 28 was men.
Yeah, I think 20 doesn't.
Right?
Yeah. Earl Campbell, think about those guys, Eric Dickerson types, they carried the ball.
20 just doesn't seem like, I mean, like I said, he's averaged 13. We're talking about 2 more carries
What's weird, I feel like with coaches, every carry over 15, they talk about its danger impending.
I just think the way the game's played, all these guys, while we can say about how much Williams is toughened up, I guarantee the Clemson linebackers and Alabama linebackers have also toughened up. And if you have 18 violent collisions, I'm just saying is.
Look. Yeah. We understand. I mean, we should understand that Jimbo Fisher is very much a well of what
he can
Clemson and Alabama are bringing to the table. And I don't think he's going to be taking Travion and just running him right into the Clemson, the teeth of the Clemson defense. They're going to find other ways to.
And this year in the SEC, because I know we've all studied beyond A&M, you say Clemson, Alabama, don't forget Mississippi State's defense, don't forget Auburn's defense. I mean, there's about and you mentioned South Carolina even. They're a little more aggressive than I think purely physical, but there's 4 defenses that are just pure brick walls, coming up. Clemson, Alabama, Mississippi State, and Auburn right off the top.
And yet I think Travion is good enough to run and be productive against
all of them.
All of them.
When we return, Cease, you're going to be up next. Arnold Horshack in the house, y'all. Mr. Cotter. When we return, we will get the thing that you're the most confident entering this season. You're listening to the Zone Game Day Show, sponsored by TexAgs.com.
Every 12 minutes, someone dies from opioid addiction. It's a unique addiction, and only one treatment network focuses exclusively on this one thing: crushing opioid addiction.
Symmetry Recovery. 1 mission, 3 key elements.
Medication, behavioral therapy, and an outpatient setting.
With a success rate 4 times the industry average.
Call 844-847-6999. For you or a loved one, that's 844-847-6999.
Hey, opioid addiction, we've got your number.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
This is a radio spot for parents of children needing braces. Kids, tune out. Not that you're listening anyway. It's that time. Orthodontics. So you ask your friends. They say Dr. Elms. You ask your coworkers. They say Dr. Elms because he also has a free shuttle. You ask your kids. They don't say anything, of course. But you say, do you want butter with that roll? So there you go. Dr. Elms. Next thing you know, college. And their teeth will look great.
DrElms.com.
Be good to your vehicle, and it'll be good to you. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia from Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube. And while that's a simple concept, it's so true. We're a full-service oil and lube shop with years of experience. And that experience tells us to always go the extra mile for our customers. Like topping off fluids for free on most vehicles and free tire pressure checks.
See Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube on Villa Maria at 2818 next to Raleigh Car Wash or at East William J. Bryan next to the main post office.
You work hard and play hard. Now it's time you save hard at Atkinson Toyota's Labor Day Repound Joe Sale. Thursday through Labor Day Monday only. Shop Atkinson Toyota's huge selection of used cars for every budget. Over 160 of the best trade-ins, auction cars, lease terminations, and repos. $27 down delivers with payments from $89 a month clearly posted on every vehicle windshield. Stock number 99286, 2006 Toyota Corolla. Selling price $53.99. 72 months at 2.99% APR. $27 down plus tax, title, and license with approved credit.
Repo Joe here. No matter what your budget is or what vehicle you're looking for, the Repo Joe sale has it all. Our payments are clearly posted, so it's easy to see your savings on the spot.
27 down and $89 a month. The payments are clearly posted. The savings are too big to miss. Hurry for best selection.
Visit RepoJoe.com to find your bargain.
Then rush to Atkinson Toyota in Bryan and Madisonville for the Repo Joe sale through Labor Day Monday. Subject to prior sale.
This is the Zone FM 102.7 on Sports Radio 1150.
I think the three of us would like to give a big thank you out to Kreitz Barbecue. They are catering the Zone Hospitality Zone. It's the Bryan Broadcasting, our entire family of stations. We do a hospitality tent for all the A&M home games, and we have various, around town. You're hungry, we have it catered. Kreitz Barbecue stepping in. We had some of the Kreitz Barbecue just delivered to our location here. It's the Zone Game Day Show, sponsored by TexAgs.com. We're located on the lawn of the Association of Former Students building, and we've got sausage, some brisket, their German potatoes, little mac and cheese here.
He's got a brownie. They stole yours and mine, Louie.
I got a brownie, too.
Wait a minute. You got a brownie?
I told you.
Oh, dude.
I got
the
brownie
brownie's
points.
missing in my sandwich.
Well, you know what? I'm kind of happy. I love Kreitz Barbecue anyway, so a big shout-out and a thank you. We're kind of talking about the things we're the most confident in entering the season, which tonight, 7:30 kickoff, Northwestern State. You will hear that game right here on 1150 and 102.7 FM. You'll hear the game online at radioaggieland.com. For Olan, Travion Williams is the thing he's the most confident in. Robert Cessna of the Eagle, what is the one thing, the most confident in?
The thing I'm most confident when I look at the Texas A&M team is that they have a coaching staff that will make better changes in-game and better changes as the season goes on. And Olan touched on that. We're talking about Travion Williams, will he get hurt? No, Jimbo Fisher, it starts with him. He has a history of making the right choices in the game and during the season, and that's been missing here in the last few years when you could see like one mistake leads to another, and you could go back to, well, run out the clock and just throw anything you want to. But the most thing I'm most confident is, and funny when you mention that, when you actually said it to start with, Louie, I've said in my mind, when I look at this A&M team, I'm not confident in a lot of things to put number one, but I am confident in the fact they have the right head coach and the right coaching staff in place with him at the lead going forward in games and in the season.
That's my number one, too.
Oh!
I'm not lying, it is.
Oh.
No, here's how I look at it. I am confident that A&M will no longer be outcoached on Saturdays. Best case scenario, when Nick Saban gets business, I actually chuckle this year. Nick Saban is the best head coach maybe in the history of the game. He hired two very lackluster coordinators. I don't think Jimbo has them. I don't think A&M's getting outcoached by Alabama staff this year heading into that game. And I'm sorry, we're trying to stay away from the past, but Sumlin and his staff lost a lot of coaching matchups on a lot of weeks, even ones they should not have. And that coaching thing, it's not just the Saturday in-game adjustments. It's the prep during the week. It's how you manage the entire season. I mean, these things are obvious, I guess. But I think that Jimbo Fisher and his staff is going to not be outcoached, outworked, and outmanaged by any other staff in the SEC or anyone on their schedule. At best, you might get a push because, I want to give some credit. Clemson, and to Dabo Sweeney, because he has got everything going at the highest level. So maybe Clemson staff's a push, but A&M will not be outcoached by anyone.
So what you're saying is if A&M gets behind and then rallies and takes the lead and has all the momentum going, they're not going to sub in an entire freshman offensive line to interrupt the momentum. Is that what you're saying?
They'll put two high school kids in, not just freshmen.
And again, the outcoaching me starts during the week.
Let me write that one down.
When the film is being broken down and you're implementing your game plan for the week. It's so much more than just Saturday. And I feel like if you wait to make halftime adjustments, you wasted half the game.
Half the game, correct.
I'm sorry.
You do need to be able to make some adjustments on the fly, and then when you get into halftime, then you really
at halftime, halftime, you adjust to what they did best against you, but then you have to anticipate what they're about to do to your adjustment.
Right.
That's what halftime is. It's chess. It's thinking two steps ahead.
Yeah, and I'm with you 100% that I think the whole getting out coach thing is not going to be an issue. Why would it be? You got Jimbo Fisher, a guy that's as proven as anybody on the offense. Mike Elko, who's done amazing things on defense at Wake Forest and Notre Dame. You've got two chess players now. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
What do you call
I'm still
what do you call those?
Bullish on
Grand Marshal. What's the highest chess? What do you call the highest chess people? What do they call them?
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. Thank you. There you go.
Grand Marshal.
Yeah, I was trying.
I just want to say the greatest chess player I've ever heard of in my lifetime Bobby Fisher. Jimbo Fisher. I don't
Good point.
know.
Not a coincidence. Is that what you're getting to?
Was he from Clarksburg too? I didn't know that.
Do you have that
Bobby
feature on
Fisher?
TexAgs? Can we read that, TexAgs.com?
I just thought
the
of
greatness
that.
of Fisher.
It's incredible what comes in our mind during this 2 hours.
Yeah, we have to think of all the Fishers that were Carrie
So
Fisher.
back to the things we're the most
scream.
Rest in peace. That we're the most confident in heading into the game.
Fisher to
so,
Barry.
Cease, I'm going to come back to you. And you said you had a lot of concerns more than – is there a player, is there a position that you're confident? If not, it's fine. I'm not trying to force one out of you. But is there a player position? Because I'll go first.
Well,
I'm confident in the linebacking core, but the only problem is they have no depth. But the starting linebackers plus one, maybe two at most, I feel great about. I feel great about three linebacker deep. But unfortunately, that's not a lot.
I'm with you. I like the linebackers. You look at their experience and how far – and I remember you telling me to watch out for Dotson when he got here, and I'm really impressed with Dotson on and off the field. I think this guy is – I really like talking to him. But like you also said, Louie, man, it's a long season. You really need 4 or 5 linebackers, and I don't see that.
Agreed.
Right now.
I'm confident in the starting linebackers plus one.
Yeah.
I think they're as good a unit as I see in the SEC. I think Terrell Dotson could end the year first team. You know, he didn't make like any of the all preseason SEC teams because if you took a look at the ones that did, you realize that this is a linebacker league. The SEC, look, they're strong in all the football positions. You know, it's a linebacker league. It's a DN league. It's a football league. But I think that's the upside. I look at the progress he made from year 1 to 2, and now we're going into year 3 with Elko. You know, in his defensive scheme, I think Elko's going to spotlight him. Elko's job, you don't see it coming, and you have your best players make plays. My God, that sounds so simple. I think Dotson's in line to have this monster season.
I'm with you.
Why wouldn't he? And plus, for all that, I've always said the thing that he's the best linebacker here since, Von Miller, if you want to call him linebacker. I know he's
I always went
hybrid,
DN/hybrid. Yeah,
but
hybrid. Okay.
And what I really like about Tyrell and everybody else does, he can diagnose a play, step into the hole, and oh my gosh, the play ends at contact instead of being dragged 3 or 4 years. And yet you don't have to take him off the field on third down because he can drop and he plays pass defense as well as he does run defense.
He's sideline to sideline. What you're tying into what you're saying, which I think you got to have a big baddie. He can go sideline to sideline, but also behind the line. He can go get the quarterback too.
He's a hell of a football player.
Really like Dotson.
And his first year, he kind of got his feet wet. Last year, he went from a guy on the team to a guy who's a good, dependable, productive starter. And then, yes, the next step is to turn into that warhorse type of guy that everybody in the conference knows about. And you have, when you're scheming to play A&M,
game plan.
You have to.
Before we jump from confident to concern, is there anything else you want to put on our list of confident?
Well, I think I feel good about the defensive tackles. In fact, I don't think, and I think the coaches do too, because I don't think they'd have moved Kingsley Key out to end, no matter what the situation was, if they didn't feel really good about what they have at defensive tackle, and they're good and they're deep there. I think Dalen Mack is finally going to have at least something approaching the year that we always thought he
been an
had.
enigma.
He's
gone.
Matabike. You've seen flashes from him too, and then they like the guys behind him. I feel good about the defensive tackle position.
I like their potential, but until Mack and these guys, when I look at those 2 young defensive tackles, I feel like we're talking about Mack 1-2 years ago. Until they do it,
no, that's true.
And I'm going to wait. And I like the potential, and I'm with you. I like Kiki a lot, but
the potential of Dalen Mack is called unstoppable. His potential upside is to be this unstoppable beast in the middle.
And I think he's been, among other reasons, slowed in his development is because he's had different coaches come in and say, we want you to do different things. So, okay, you want me to attack? Okay, this year I'm going to attack. Oh, this year you don't want me to attack. You want me to read and take up blockers. Okay, I think they're going to have him on the attack this year. And, again, let me go right back to it. I think these coaches are too smart to say, hey, if we move Kingsley Key out to end to replace the guy that we thought was going to be our starter, are we getting weaker at 2 positions?
Okay, I like to do the counter thing if I could. Just because I love talking to you because you'll tell me when you think I'm wrong or consider if I might be right. Did they have any other choice at DN? And you've got to be strong at DN. If you're not going to be good at DN in the year of the quarterback in the SEC, you're dead.
Why did it have to be Kingsley?
Who else? What were the options? Because I remember when I looked at it, I didn't see good options. Kingsley Kiki was the one they came up with, but that was the thing. What else were they going to do?
I don't.
And you got to be strong at DN first.
I'm a little bit with him. I guess as I get older, I get a little bit cynical because I'm with you on. I think the defensive tackles and defensive line has
Olan
potential.
gave a little confused look.
Potential. I think the young receivers have potential. I think. But then once again, I say to my offensive line, but then I step back and I go, okay, to me, I've got 3 or 4 ifs, and it's tough to hit on all 3 or 4 ifs.
Why not Peavy going out to the end?
Peavy and Mo, well, again, they had the depth to spare it. It doesn't mean they didn't need them because of the backups like Moten and Peavy have as much potential as Mack and Matabiki. So in the end, between the 4 of them, honestly, is the way I look at it, they believe 2 are going to be fine.
It could be, and you're
as
right.
opposed to hoping it's Mack.
Going back to my strength, I have more confidence in this coaching staff. So you'd think that their ifs are going to become pluses, whereas the previous regimes, the ifs kind of fell apart and led to people getting fired.
We have been talking about what we're confident in, and when we return, we will talk about our concerns. You're listening to the Zone Game Day Show, and it is sponsored by TexAgs.com.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Aggie football is here, and transportation services, parking, and shuttle options are different for the first Thursday game. All game day parking for Thursday football starts at 3:30 p.m. The only available cash parking is $20 in Research Park and Agronomy Road. Reserve parking near Kyle Field through the Park mobile app. Free shuttles to the game are available on and off campus, including downtown Bryan and Momentum Plaza. Tailgate drop-off for Football Thursday is Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. only. Visit footballthursday.tamu.edu or the Destination Aggieland app for more info. Uncork and unwind at Peach Creek Vineyards, a unique Texas vineyard and winery located right here in College Station. Enjoy local wines as you experience the tranquility and peace of Texas country charm found at Peach Creek Vineyards. Sip with friends in the tasting room or under the pavilion overlooking the vineyards and ponds. Open Tuesday through Friday, 3 to 6, Saturday from noon to 6, and Sundays by appointment. Learn more at peachcreekvineyards.com and find Peach Creek Vineyards on Facebook for upcoming events.
Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes can land you on the wrong side of the law. If so, you need someone on your side. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has over 20 years' experience fighting felony and misdemeanor charges. Steve Gustitis will fight for you. Call now to set up your free consultation, 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Call 823-9111 or visit GustitisLaw.com to see how Steve Gustitis can put the law on your side.
Aggie Football's here, and transportation services, parking, and shuttle options are different for the first Thursday game. All game day parking for Thursday football starts at 3:30 p.m. The only available cash parking is $20 in Research Park and Agronomy Road. Reserve parking near Kyle Field through the Park mobile app. Free shuttles to the game are available on and off campus, including downtown Bryan and Momentum Plaza. Tailgate drop-off for Football Thursday is Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. only. Visit footballthursday.tamu.edu or the Destination Aggieland app for more info.
We've almost made it through the long, hot summer. It's time to get registered for America's Most Loved Football Pick'em Contest. Friday's Fearless Football Forecast Contest brought to you by Brian Hosen Gasket and Nifa's Mexican Restaurant. Go online at chiphoward.com and register so you'll be ready for that first week. Get registered at chiphoward.com and make your picks every week right here on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM.
I got to figure that if you're watching the Zone Game Day Show, sponsored by TexAgs.com, because you can watch it. We're on Facebook, Zone 1150, on YouTube. You search Zone 1150. You can watch it. You must really get a kick out of watching 3 people eat Kreitz barbecue, because during the commercial break, that we are attacking these plates. We have Kreitz barbecue here, part of our Zone hospitality tent, Ryan Broadcasting hospitality tent catering. And during the commercial, There wasn't a lot of room for a lot else. There was attacking of the plate. So
I might be late for the kickoff. I got to finish eating.
if you watched us, yes, 3 men eating Kreitz barbecue. That was the dramatic video during the commercial timeouts. We talked about things confident. How about we go to concern? Back to you, Olan. What's your number one concern for Aggie football 2018?
I think it's the linebacker depth. You lose like Ken LKK, and now Anthony Hines is out tonight. They say he's supposed to be back next week, and hopefully he'll come back, and it won't be a lingering problem. But they're thin there anyway. And then when you have guys that you were counting on to contribute, they're getting hurt. I think that's the area where I would be really concerned. Maybe not so much tonight. And of
right.
course, when you play those spread type teams, when you only play 2 linebackers anyway. But moving forward, if some of those guys don't come back strong,
could I expand your thought?
Yes,
because I thought all season long that depth. Period. I didn't go by position. Where do they have depth, really? Because they don't have depth at running back. They're going to have to figure out the depth chart behind Travion Williams. Wide receivers are a lot of options, but we really don't know the starting 3 or 4, let alone depth behind them.
True.
Linebacking doesn't have depth. DN no longer has depth. We don't know what they have at cornerback. You can't qualify depth into that. I thought depth, period, beyond just linebacker. I thought depth was a major concern when you're going to go through an SEC schedule, the routine 4-month season. So I thought depth in general, not just linebacker.
Yeah, true, but I was just being real specific. And,
I like
and with,
that about you.
With cornerback, absolutely, I think it's an area to be a little bit concerned about, especially because they struggled last year. But let's face it, they struggled as much as anything because of the scheme that they were in. Hey, I'm going to take a couple of true freshmen. I'm going to put them out there and tell them to play press coverage man-to-man. And by the way.
And they can't, and I'm not going to adjust.
And every opposing offensive coordinator and quarterback knows that's what you're going to do too. How could that possibly go wrong?
Horribly wrong? Not just wrong, but horribly wrong.
Right.
So, Cease, what's your number one concern?
Well, to expound on your depth, when I looked at this roster and went by position yesterday, you guys are absolutely correct. Depth kept coming up, and it goes back to is they're able to recruit well but not develop those players the previous regime to have a good second stringer, good third stringer. But my gets back to the offensive line, and I hope it does pan out. But if the offensive line, I'm talking about quality opponents, if this offense can't execute against the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the Mississippi States, the Auburns, then we're not going to really see Jimbo Fisher's offense where the quarterback whisperer or whatever. We're going to not see quarterbacks develop and the running backs. To me, it all starts up front, and he kept Jim Turner, so he's got confidence in him. So once again, that says something. And I know it starts next week, but I want to see how good in 12, 13 games that this line becomes.
Mine was overall depth. And, you mentioned linebacker depth because, again, SEC Media Days, both of y'all go to every one of them. I try and go to about every other year. How many times have you heard a coach make the most basic, simplistic, straightforward of statements, and what is it? The SEC games are won by your 2s and 3s.
Got to stay healthy. Got to stay healthy.
There's at least 3 coaches, right? Mm-hmm. And if that's the story, and you look at A&M's team, how do you start feeling about this year if you're trying to figure out 8 wins by 2s and 3s for A&M?
Well, you just mentioned a lot of the 2s and 3s, or especially the 2, we don't know about.
They might be close to the ones.
Because like receiving position, there's no juniors and seniors at that position at all. So who knows? Maybe we're going to find out that there's more depth there than we realize. I know that
I'd love
Courtney
to see
Davis
it. I hope
coming
so.
back
Gonna need it.
Courtney coming back from a knee injury is a big plus. They like what they've seen from Kendrick Rogers, from what I've been told. I hear great things about this freshman Caleb Chapman, but we got to actually see it.
Sure.
One of the early concerns, I say early, I'll say pre-spring football, towards the end of spring football, everyone was talking about, well, there's only one wide receiver returning that has any catches. Yes, it's potential. Potential means you haven't done it yet. But don't you feel like with the number of options, because we could rattle off 5 or 6 wide receivers right now who potentially could all come up for them, just by the pure number of actual bona fide, whether you want to go by the 4 stars, what they've done in the past, high school, but just resume leading into. Still need to do it. I get this. But by the pure number of options, you're going to have a wide receiving core. We might not know the names yet. We might not know it till game 6. But the volume of options equals, including Jay Sternberger and the wide receiving core, equals they're going to be fine at that position.
I think so. And, I think Osborne is a guy that I keep hearing they say, well, he could be having a breakout year, and yet I kind of think he broke out last year. I mean, 50 catches is not something to sneeze at, especially from a true freshman.
I heard you mention that this morning, and I'm so with you on that. He broke out last year. For a freshman, that was a breakout year. He doesn't have to break anything out this year. He just has to be 1 year better.
And he did most of that in the last part of the season against good competition. And then I'm one of those guys that say, I'm sold on Cam Buckley. I'm not saying he's going to go out and be a star. He's not the next Christian Kirk. I'm not saying that. But you know what? He might be the next Damian Ratley, a guy that can come in and make a big play for you here and there, and more than anything, just be a productive player.
Well, when I look at Osborne, though, he wasn't usually the first option because Kirk brought double teams. So, they were throwing the ball 40 times a game. So I didn't think 50 catches was that out of the ordinary, considering the talent and what talent they didn't have. They had to throw to him.
Considering that they spent a good chunk of the year with Kellen Mond, who couldn't make the reads and wasn't accurate, I thought 50 was great.
Okay, I'm just saying this, but, then you go back and look. Even Starkle threw for 6,000 yards in one game that they lost. Didn't matter, but I like Osborne. But I also agree with you guys. The receivers are not going to make or break this team because the last regime did recruit good, talented wide receivers because they went with the 4 spread. Now you're not going to need those. You add the tight ends, which we think are going to be viable, and it does get back to me, is the offensive line's got to produce, and we'll see what happens.
This whole wide receiving equation, too, part of it, we mentioned the tight end's going to be mixed in, so is the running back. It's all going to help that passing game. It's all going to be a part of what A&M's offense is going to do. We'll take a timeout. CBS Sports Flash is coming up next. When we return, I'm going to have a Northwestern State preview with you. I visited with Patrick Netherton. He is the voice of the Demons. And look, everything you're going to need to know, better than Olan, better than Cease. And you might think it's not even possible. No, it's true. It happened. I will visit with Patrick Netherton. He's a play-by-play guy. Everything Northwestern State you need to know after CBS Sports Flash. You're listening to the Zone Game Day Show, and it is sponsored by TexAgs.com.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Fender benders, parking lot challenges, scrapes, bruises, and bumps. I'm vehicle challenged when it comes to avoiding objects that get in my way. Hi, I'm Mary Mike Hatcher for Oscar & Sons Body Shop. My car is my second office, and it's so important to keep it looking great. Oscar & Sons Body Shop has done just that. As a family affair for over 40 years, they remove cosmetic blemishes to major auto body repair. Google Oscar & Sons. They'll come to you with a free estimate for your repairs. Oscar & Sons Body Shop. They wreck it, we fix it.
It's your daily reality check. Wow. The Louie Belina Show. Weekdays from 11 to 2, right here on the Zone. This is KZNE KNDE HD3 and K274CL. College Station Ryan.
Sports Flash. Albert Jacqueline, an arbitrator, sided with Colin Kaepernick, rejecting the NFL's request to have Kaepernick's grievance thrown out. Now the case appears headed for trial. The former quarterback claims owners conspired to keep him out of the league because of his protests of social injustice. The Patriots and Rob Gronkowski have reportedly reworked his contract, and so he will receive an additional $4 million for the upcoming season. A full slate of preseason games tonight. The final week of the preseason is jobs still to be won and to be determined on the line this evening. One game in top 25 college football getting underway. A new era for Central Florida with Josh Heupel taking over after Scott Frost left for Nebraska following a 13-0 season. The Knights kick off against UConn momentarily. From baseball, the Astros have given manager A.J. Hinch an extension through 2022. The Astros host the Angels after taking a series from the A's, ending it in dramatic fashion last night and opening up a 2.5-game lead in the AL West. The A's are home to take on the Mariners. Other action today in the American League, it was the Indians over the Twins 5-3, getting underway in the Bronx of the Yankees and the Tigers. New York opens today 7.5 games back in the American League as the Red Sox will take on the White Sox in Chicago at the top of the hour. National League, Milwaukee topped Cincinnati in 11, 2-1. Pittsburgh and St. Louis about to get underway shortly at Busch Stadium. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Did you put the gas in the boat before we went out here? I didn't either. I brought the beer. For Owen Events, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, CBS Sports Radio.
You can hear Aggie Football. Listen to Aggie Football on your smartphone, PC, or tablet. Visit RadioAggieland.com. RadioAggieland.com.
Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Now serving James County. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-BOND. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years and now serving Grimes County. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos Courthouse, 116 North Washington Avenue in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND or visit GageGandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos County Courthouse in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Or visit GageGandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
Aggieland and Kyle Field in the fall. No experience compares. Take in all the sights and sounds with your family and friends when you have a game day home in Aggieland. Game day homes are a solid investment in a strong real estate market. Locally, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Caliber Realty are experts for game day home properties. Click on BHHSCaliber.com. Your experts for game day home properties in Aggieland. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Caliber Realty. BHHSCaliber.com.
You need help if you've been charged with a crime. The justice system is daunting. You need an experienced defense lawyer to obtain the best results for you. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has been helping people fight criminal charges for over 20 years. Call Steve Gustitis now to schedule your free consultation. 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Let Steve Gustitis put his experience to work for you. 823-9111. Visit GustitisLaw.com today and get the help that you need.
Ever get up close and personal with a scorpion? Then when you go to get rid of it, you can't find it? They hide pretty well. This is Bobby Jenkins with ABC Home and Commercial Services, and we know where scorpions hide. With ABC's control plan, our specialists will treat and quickly get them out of your home. Additionally, ABC specialists undergo background screenings so you can feel comfortable having us in your home. ABC Home and Commercial Services, specialists for your environment.
For courteous service, just call ABC Home and Commercial Services.
Brent Zwerneman visits with Chip Howard about Aggie football Friday at 5:15. Only on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM.
I think for the first time since we've been out here, we're starting to see kind of some signs of life here on campus. Again, you can tell it's a Thursday, that's for sure. Affected the tailgating, not the usual crowd, but I have a feeling at kickoff, 7:30 at Kyle Field, there'll be 100K, 105K or so. And then next week, Clemson, this whole town all day long on a Saturday will probably be the best place in the history of college football. Maybe I exaggerated, but not by a whole lot. We've been talking A&M because, well, you're listening to the Zone Game Day Show, sponsored by TexAgs.com. And, well, we love Aggie football, talk Aggie football, and so do you. But the opponent is Northwestern State. Let's get you a preview with their play-by-play voice, Patrick Netherton.
How cool is it to say the voice of the Demons? I'd want that on my business card. I'd want a shirt that said that. I'm sorry, man. That's pretty awesome. You're the voice of the Demons.
Yeah, it's good. And I remind myself a lot, this is, when you get into this business, it's very unique. It's an interesting place to be. There are only about 350 or so Division I broadcasters running around out there. So it's a pretty exclusive fraternity. And, of course, having the unique nickname helps as well. But, man, it's, every day that I wake up, there have been some years when it's like going to work. We had an 0-11 football season a couple of years ago. We had a 4-win basketball season last year. So there's times when it can be rough. But, man, for the most part, when you get up and go to work, it is definitely like living the dream.
So, Patrick, question, all across the country, it's not just a Northwestern State thing, but starting quarterback, you have the returner, with a brand name, but also the JUCO, who happens to have pretty flashy stats. Who's the quarterback for Northwestern State?
Well, Coach Laird has already come out and said he's playing both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so both guys are going to see action. It's just a matter of in what regard. I don't really have any insider info. If I had to guess, I would probably guess that Shelton Epler, the transfer, starts, but they're actually, I'm not sure they're going to announce that at all. I know they're going to meet at some point this week and figure that out, and then figure out what the rotation is going to be. Is it going to be a few series, and then whoever the second guy is comes in? Is it going to be, 3-4 series? What's going to happen if the guy, if the starter goes out and throws a couple of touchdown passes? What happens if he goes out and throws a pick? That's the kind of stuff that I'm interested to see what they do. But, yeah, Coach Laird's already come out and said both guys are going to play. And interestingly enough, Shelton Epler, who is from Navasota, Shelton Epler actually hasn't played a full season of college yet. He played 7 games as a freshman at Trinity Valley, and he played 7 games as a sophomore. So, and he came with his head coach, Brad Smiley, from Trinity Valley. Now Coach Smiley is our offensive coordinator at NSU. So they all kind of know that, look, you need 2 guys these days to be able to play in order to make it work. So no surprise, they're going to get 2 guys ready to go.
And what's the difference in the two? What does, Epler bring or Holgerson bring that the other doesn't bring?
They're very similar. Shelton's a little bit, I would say, a little bit thicker than Clay. Clay Holgerson's a little bit thinner, I would say, maybe a little bit more mobile than Epler. Both have good arms. I would say Holgerson probably has a little bit of a stronger arm. Both are very accurate. Both seem to be making good decisions within the framework of the offense. The major difference is Epler's been in that offense for 2 years, so he kind of knows what to expect, whereas Holgerson's only been in it since the spring, and so maybe a little bit behind the learning curve there. But Coach Smiley will tell you he puts his offense in 5 days. So it's he's going to throw it all on them, and then it's just up to them to try to sink or swim. And they put the whole thing in, and then start going to work repping it, trying to get guys ready to go. And so after the spring, it looked like Epler was the guy because he was kind of ahead in terms of the learning curve.
Sure.
But credit to Clay Holgerson. He has really come along in fall and made a real battle out of it and forced the coaches to go ahead and try to play both of them. Both coaches, both Coach Laird and Coach Smiley, don't want to play. They don't want to have 2 quarterbacks. They want to have one that they're going to stick with. But right now, neither one of them has separated themselves, so they're going to have to go with 2.
So, when Aggies make their way to Kyle Field or they're watching on the SEC network, what should they expect to see offensively? Are they running plays every 3 seconds? Are they going to run the wishbone? I mean, what are they going for?
No, it's tempo. It is absolute tempo. It's interesting because it's kind of Coach Smiley's offense is kind of an amalgam of a couple of different offensive ideas. They went and visited Baylor. back when he was at Trinity Valley and they wanted to switch to this offense like 5-6 years ago. They went and visited Baylor and learned a lot of the tenets of the run game and the tempo style from Art Briles and those guys down in Waco. But then Coach Smiley's background is at Tulane. And if you remember the really good Tulane teams with Sean King and then J.P. Lossman and Patrick Ramsey and those guys, that's kind of where his passing game is predicated on. So it's an interesting amalgam of sort of run game and tempo stuff from Baylor and more sophisticated pass combination type stuff that they ran at Tulane. So he's got a unique style in that regard, but it is going to be fast. I don't think he's going to slow down. I think the only time he slows down is when he's trying to hold on to a lead late. So it's going to be fast. It's going to be, they're going to be getting up there as quickly as they can. And, maybe they alter the play calling a little bit to decrease the tempo. But those guys aren't going to huddle. They're not going to get under center. It's going to be, full bore, go as fast as you can, at least until, time and circumstance dictate that they don't.
We are visiting with Patrick Netherton. He is the voice of Northwestern State football. He's kind enough to take a timeout, drop some knowledge here on the Louie Belina Show. Patrick, quarterback nice, having options at quarterback nice, but who are the targets?
Oh, the targets are easy. Jazz Ferguson, who played at LSU and then transferred to NSU, sat out last year, kind of had to get the academics in order and did the work off the field. And, we call him the human cheat code. I mean, I've not seen a kid this gifted and talented at this level in a long, long time. I mean, he's a legit 6'5". I'm 6'4", and he's definitely right at my height, if not a little bit taller. Running about 220, 215, something like that. Can jump out of the gym, strong arms, really fast. I mean, he is going to be a massive difference maker. I mean, he's the kind of guy that, the SEC has plenty of, but he's the kind of guy that the FCS doesn't see very often. So expect to see him. He'll be wearing number 1. And then another kid that transferred in late from Texas Tech is a kid named Quan Shorts, who was originally a New Orleans kid that got displaced by Katrina. Ended up in Houston, went to Texas Tech, played a good bit at Texas Tech, ran into some off-the-field issues, and is now at NSU trying to sort of get his reputation back. And I'll say this, I've had a chance to talk to him. We did some media training with the kids, and he was one of the guys that we mock interviewed. And I asked him about the off-the-field stuff, and he was a stand-up kid, said he wanted to restore his reputation, to let people understand that who he is not who that person was who was getting involved into some off-the-field stuff. And so he's a difference maker. He's in the slot. He's super fast, very quick. Those two guys are going to be huge difference makers, and why not? When you get Power 5 transfers down to the FCS level, you expect those guys to be difference makers, and Jazz Ferguson and Quan Shorts definitely are.
Is the best player on the Northwestern State team on the defensive side of the ball?
No, it's very easy. It's an easy question. He's wearing number 11 this year. His name's Obina Ioma, and he led the team last year with 8 sacks. He is at what they call the buck position, which is sort of a hybrid defensive end linebacker spot. He will be all over the field. He'll usually be in a 2-point stance. They're going to try to find whatever matchups they can find that they feel like are beneficial. If they feel like there's a tackle that maybe isn't up to par, they'll put Obi right over the top of him and let him go to work. And this kid is an absolute monster. Again, he's something that the SEC, every team has, but at this level, at the FCS level, not everybody has a guy like this. He's strong, he's fast. He has a very good knack for getting into the backfield, for getting off blocks. You'll see number 11 making plays in the backfield. He is really good, and looking forward to just an absolute monster year.
Tell me 2 other players we got to watch out for on the defensive side. I actually think there's more than 2 others, but who are the top 2 names?
That's really tough because the defense is sort of geared for a couple of positions to be making a lot of plays. There's a kid named Jordan Hester who is a true freshman and is going to be starting at what they call the star safety position. And that is sort of a hybrid. This is a 4-2-5 defense, so you get a lot of hybrid guys in there. Ioma is that hybrid defensive end linebacker, while Jordan Hester is a hybrid linebacker safety. He is not a big guy. He's just a true freshman, about 175, 180 pounds. But what he is incredibly physical, incredibly smart, and really has a great ability to make plays out in space. And so that star safety position, as they call it, is the disruptive position in the defensive backfield. You'll see him blitzing. You'll see him getting out in coverage. You'll see him all over the place making plays. So, if anybody is going to sort of show up, it'll be Jordan Hester wearing number 10 and his backup, Ronald Malbrough. Both of those guys are designed in that position to make disruptive plays defensively, so expect to see them.
Thursday night will be a success for Northwestern State if?
Well, okay, so the two tenets we always go into these, these quote-unquote bye games, the two things you always say. One, don't get hurt. Two, hope the check clears. Those are the 1 and 2 tenets you go into. But I think ultimately you want to be competitive for as long as possible, right? Obviously no injuries. That's the big thing. You don't want to get anybody beat up, lose anyone for the year, any of that kind of stuff. But secondly, you want to see if you can be as competitive as long as possible. I mean, Nichols, who has been a really good team for the Southland Conference the last couple of years. Nichols went in and had a lot of success against A&M. They went in and had a lot of success against Georgia. So you want to see if you can replicate that. Can you get this game into the third quarter? Do you still feel like you're in it? Can you get into the fourth quarter where you still feel like you're in it? If you do that, then you feel like this is a success. If you're down 42-7 at halftime, then at that point you're hoping, hey, let's really hope no one gets hurt. But you're probably thinking, okay, this wasn't as successful as we'd liked it to have been.
How big of a game is this for first year? So first game as the head coach, Brad Laird, former player, a couple of stints as assistant. So this means something to him.
Sure, and I think it means something to him because it's the first game. I don't know that playing A&M in and of itself means more to him. He's a Louisiana kid. If it was LSU, maybe it means a little bit more. But he's a Louisiana kid, so. Yeah, I think whoever was first on the schedule was going to be first on the schedule. And it's going to be a significant game because it is his first. And I think to a large extent because he doesn't really know what this team is. And we don't know. And that, to me, Louie, makes this one of the more intriguing games this week. And, look, I know there's a lot of great matchups out there, and somebody's going to look and laugh and say, well, there's no way A&M Northwestern State is intriguing. But it is. It's intriguing for both Aggie fans and Demon fans because none of us really know what we're going to get at this point. We don't know what the coaching staffs have put together. We don't know what we're going to see when the teams finally play another opponent. So, honestly, just from an outsider's perspective, this is really a fascinating game to watch. What's Jimbo going to look like in his first game against A&M? Are they going to come out gangbusters and just blow NSU out, or are they going to struggle and people going to question him? Or is NSU going to go in and play well and everyone going to continue to heap praise on Brad Laird, or will they go out and struggle and everyone say, okay, maybe we need to temper our expectations a little bit? So I'm really excited for this game just from an outsider's perspective, just to kind of see what do we get with these two teams with these brand new coaching staffs.
I'm 100% with you, and I'll even tell you this. I think I'll have that same feeling in relation to A&M kind of in week 4 and week 7 and week 11 because I expect it to be a year-long evolution in year 1. That excitement is going to be about 4 months long.
Oh, yeah, and it always is. And the great thing about the year 1 is that there's never expectations in year 1, right? I mean, everyone can say, oh, we think maybe you'll win 6, 7, 8, 9 games, whatever. But in reality, no one really has a grasp on what any of these teams are going to look like. So it continues to be a sort of an unfolding puzzle, if you will, where as the weeks go on, we fill in a little bit more of each puzzle piece, and we say, okay, this is maybe what they're going to look like. And in reality, no matter what happens, if the Demons go 0-11 or 11-0, everything is going to be a bit of a surprise, and nothing really matters until years 2, 3, and 4.
I hope you enjoyed your Northwestern State preview. That was the play-by-play voice, Patrick Netherton, and that is everything and anything you needed to know about the Demons. And when we come back, final thoughts, predictions, we wrap up the Zone Game Day show, sponsored by TexAgs.com.
Be good to your vehicle, and it'll be good to you. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia from Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube. And while that's a simple concept, it's so true. We're a full-service oil and lube shop with years of experience. And that experience tells us to always go the extra mile for our customers. Like topping off fluids for free on most vehicles and free tire pressure checks.
See Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube on Villa Maria at 2818 next to Raleigh Car Wash, or at East William J. Bryan next to the main post office.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Every 12 minutes, someone dies from opioid addiction. It's a unique addiction, and only one treatment network focuses exclusively on this one thing: crushing opioid addiction.
Symmetry Recovery. One mission, 3 key elements.
Medication, behavioral therapy, and an outpatient setting.
With a success rate 4 times the industry average.
Call 844-847-6999. For you or a loved one, that's 844-847-6999.
Hey, opioid addiction, we've got your number.
You work hard and play hard. Now it's time you save hard at Atkinson Toyota's Labor Day Refound Joe Sale. Thursday through Labor Day Monday only. Shop Atkinson Toyota's huge selection of used cars for every budget. Over 160 of the best trade-ins, auction cars, lease terminations, and repos. $27 down delivers with payments from $89 a month clearly posted on every vehicle windshield. Stock number 99286, 2006 Toyota Corolla. Selling price $53.99. 72 months at 2.99% APR. $27 down plus tax, title, and license with approved credit.
Repo Joe here. No matter what your budget is or what vehicle you're looking for, the Repo Joe sale has it all. Our payments are clearly posted, so it's easy to see your savings on the spot.
27 down and $89 a month. The payments are clearly posted. The savings are too big to miss. Hurry for best selection.
Visit RepoJoe.com to find your bargain.
Then rush to Atkinson Toyota in Bryan and Madisonville for the Repo Joe sale through Labor Day Monday. Subject to prior sale.
If you're not bundling your insurance with Allstate, you might have fear of missing out, or FOMO.
You're too old to say FOMO.
But people who don't bundle their auto and home with Allstate...
No, FOMO's about fun stuff, not insurance.
But what if people use the money they save to pay for that fun stuff?
Okay, fine.
Bundle your auto and home insurance and save up to 25%. Call BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson, class of 82 at 979-764-0015 today.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
This is Jerome from Birmingham, previously from Paul Feinbaum Show.
Jim is up next.
I don't even watch NFL football. I hate it because I think so much of barbarians in the NFL now.
What do you think college football is?
Well, it's getting close. Yeah, I just flat out tell you right now, God in heaven told me to stop calling about football because it's so violent. It's not good. I'm just telling you, man. You know, I'm not a liar.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center. 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
We are back. We got about 6 minutes left on the Zone Game Day show, sponsored by TexAgs.com. Don't forget, every A&M game, home or road, you've got the Zone Game Day show. Now, home is Olan Bucanin. He's with TexAgs.com. What's your title? I've never figured that out because I know you co-host the Go Hour, and you're like featured columnist, or what are you?
I just call myself a writer.
Okay, writer for TexAgs.com. Yeah. Also, you can listen to him Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., on the Zone, part of the Go Hour of TexAgs Radio. Robert Cessna, 40-plus years, the editor, sports page of the Eagle. You love these games that end late. You love these late. You know, you have no deadlines in the newspaper business, so you can just put out the paper whenever you want.
Well, believe it or not, games like this, we print it an hour later. They go,
no.
If we go on regular time, Cessna will have so many mistakes in, and that's why I tell them, they go, you're right, you need an extra hour.
I want to answer, you can watch the Zone Game Day show on YouTube. Just search Zone 1150. First thing pops up is us. Search Zone 1150 on YouTube. And our Facebook page, Zone 1150. And on Facebook, we had a question about the post-game show. No, we do not stream the post-game show for now. Years. People have wanted to know, why don't you podcast the post-game show?
That'd be fun.
People have asked, why don't you stream the post-game show? It is an immediate reaction. It's right after the game. You be there or you miss it. It's kind of a one-time thing. It's kind of anti the world we live in where everything's on demand. And the other reason is Dusty and I, things get kind of wild and woolly, and we don't want anything we say to be used against us in a court of law. So we don't keep recordings of it. We don't podcast it, and we don't. You can listen online, radioagland.com, so it is accessible by anyone. Now, to be fair, I will throw this out there. Before the season's over, yeah, you'll be able to watch it. We don't want to do that. God, we don't. And by the end of the game day, that's our 12th, 13th, and 14th hour of the day, we look like hell. It looks like people took pipes to us. Not like that's not our Monday through Friday walking around look. But we don't want you to see us. We don't want what we say to be held against us. We will be streaming, not tonight. No, not tonight, but it's going to happen. We got 3 minutes, so starting with you, Olan.
Yes, sir.
Final prediction, just final thought on the game tonight.
Well, I think my prediction is A&M's going to win comfortably.
Well, you really went on a limb.
Probably
we waited 9 months for that.
Probably as much as they want to, something like 52-10 probably. And again, I think Travion Williams is going to have a big night. And I think the defense is going to look good, but we won't know exactly what that tells us.
Travion Williams 175 over under.
Over.
All right, love that. See, that's what I'm looking for. How about you, C's final thought, final prediction?
I'll be interested to see how they win. In other words, the first string jump out to 42-0 at halftime, then you play the second, third stringers, second half, who looks good about them. Because in the games like this, like you said, it's so hard to pick and choose what's good because a lot of times a game like this falls apart early just because of how bad Northwestern State is. So I'm just going to enjoy the game and sit back and watch a lot of points by one team.
Final thought. I'm looking for a high level of execution, which is what Jimbo Fisher seems to bring, and he's had 9 months to instill that. If they get up 28-0 with 1 minute left in the first quarter, I want to see that he has their attention, that they keep that up for another 16 minutes, at least to the half, where other teams would, coast all of a sudden and have a sloppy play or two. I want to see the little things that tell me that Jimbo Fisher's teachings, coachings, and philosophy are ingrained, and none of that equals points or first downs. It's a style of play. It's an attitude on the field. They always say you'll know it when you see it. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see tonight on the team. I want to see that everything Jimbo Fisher's talked about is on display, that we're starting to see the signs of that being what Aggie football is. And again, when you're up 28-0, I want to see them act like it's 0-0. I want them still eager to play, not, all right, now it's time to celebrate. And it's 1 minute left in the first quarter. And if Jimbo has their attention, he can keep them focused for 30 minutes, don't you think?
Yes, I think.
I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, he does.
I think
that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to see Kellen Mond on his accuracy.
You want to see blood?
I do want to see them sweep the leg. We're done, guys. We'll be back here for Clemson. Yep. Olin will join me. Cecil will join me. I am Louie. We'll be back for the Clemson, game day show. It's all sponsored by TexAgs. We're less than a minute away from Scott Clendenin, Tom Turbyville with the official pregame show. 7:30, Andrew Monaco, Dave Elmendorf, kickoff. Voice A&M, first game ever. And then 30 minutes after the game, oh, help us all. It's going to be the postgame. It's going to be the Zone call-in show. 2 hours of your call that starts 30 minutes after the game. The Zone call-in show, sponsored by TexAgs. For Olin, for Cease, I'm Louie. Thank you. Thank you for having, hanging out with us. Beat the hell out of game day.
Your home for Texas A&M football. Every game, every win. Is Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM. This is KZNE, KNDE HD3 and K274CM College Station Bryan.